My dad used to get up around 3 a.m. every morning for work. Starting at a very early age, I would wake up on my own and wander downstairs to see him before he left. One morning, when I was about 4 years old, I made it to the bottom of the stairs and noticed that the front door was ajar. I opened it up and saw my father in his favorite work shirt making his way down the driveway to his truck in his typical work outfit. I swung open the door wide and yelled for him to come back for a hug before he left. He slowly turned around and just stared at me and started walking back towards the house. He was looking so strangely at me that it started to scare me, and I began crying and asking what was wrong. Just as he had almost reached me, a pair of arms encircled me from behind in a bear hug. I turned my head to see my understandably freaked out father staring at his doppelganger in the same outfit. The double took one look at my dad and ran down the driveway. Meanwhile, my dad yanked me in the house and locked the door. Weirdest morning ever. We never did quite figure that one out. I wouldn't trust my 4-year-old memory of the event if it wasn't also witnessed by my father. He won't really talk about it these days, but my mom has since told me that he called out of work and she spent the entire day reassuring him he wasn't a nutcase. This happened to me while I was in college as a psychology major. I was 19, and after the first week of school, I asked this girl in my class named Claire to come hang out at my place. She agreed. That evening, she came to my house at around 7 o'clock. We were hitting it off pretty well. At one point in the night, she said she was thirsty. I offered to go get us some drinks. I left her there while I ran to the shop on the corner. I returned after only a few minutes. Claire was gone. I didn't panic because I thought she had just blown me off and gone home. Since I had her phone number, I decided to send her a text. Her contact was not even in my phone. I thought she had possibly deleted her contact information from my phone while I was getting the drinks, so I still wasn't that worried. I returned to school the next day. I remember Claire telling me about her friend named Brooke. When I saw Brooke after class, I asked her if she had seen Claire that day. She told me that she did not know a Claire. I was baffled, and I pulled out my phone to show her Claire's social media to see if she might recognize her picture, but her account didn't even exist anymore. To this day, I have no idea what happened to her. In the summer of 1977, my girlfriend and I rented a small 2-bedroom cottage on a lake south of Grand Rapids, Michigan. We lived there only a year until our landlord, who lived next door, kicked us out at the end of our lease. We were 2 wild young women. We lived in the house with a Doberman Pinscher, 3 cats, a rat, and 3 mice. I was in charge of feeding the cats and cleaning the litter box, so every morning before work, I would switch on the light at the top of the basement stairs before heading down to feed them. Several times, when heading down the stairs, I would notice that the basement lights were already on and the switch flipped up. I wondered why my roommate was leaving the lights on in the basement and, in fact, what she was doing in the basement at all. She was notoriously bad at dealing with cat litter. I made a mental note to flip the light switch off when I came back upstairs. However, for at least a month of this occurring, I kept forgetting to ask her about it. It was our habit in the evenings to sit on the living room couch and play AC-doocy, a variation of backgammon. One night, while we were immersed in a game, I remembered to ask. "Mary Jo," I said, "why do you keep leaving the basement light on?" She looked at me in puzzlement and asked what I was talking about. I told her that several mornings when I would go down to feed the cats, the light would already be on. She looked at me like I was crazy, then said jokingly, "Well, maybe we have a ghost." Just after she uttered the words, the light in the dining room flicked on. Both of us turned to look at the light, then immediately looked back into each other's eyes, and I said, "Maybe we do." And the light flicked off. One night I was home alone, and I decided it was time to go to bed. I turned off all the lights except the light in the stairway, as I could turn it off once I got to the top. As I was ascending the stairs, I started removing my clothes, readying myself for pajamas. I got halfway up the stairs when the light went off. I stopped immediately and said, "Turn the light back on. I could fall and hurt myself." The light went back on. I can't remember all the incidents, but there were several. I never felt frightened in that little cottage, but something was definitely there with us. Many people I've told the stories to have said, "Oh, it was just faulty wiring." It could have been, except for one thing. The basement light switch was always moved to the up position.